Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it is just me today because Neon still can't speak. However, he is doing better, and I expect him back maybe tomorrow, Tuesday at the latest. So for this video, we're going to talk about influencer culture at Disney. Now, a couple days we talked about how Disney and other studios were leaning into the influencer culture for things like movie premieres and things like that. They're trying very hard to create viral videos, viral TikToks or whatever with influencer input. However, it's funny to me because a lot of things that actually legitimately go viral tend to be bad news about Disney, where somebody catches somebody doing something really stupid and then posting a video on TikTok. But, you know, it is what it is. So The Laughing Place is a blog, another Disney blog, Laughing Place. They actually did a story which I thought was interesting and funny, influence culture and the Disney experience, an incoherent ramble. And they're talking about how the influencers coming into the parks are ruining Disney. I also have a look at some of the cast member stories about the arrogance of some of these people. I'll tell you some of my own personal stories being around it, being in the parks and things like that. And then we're going to put it back onto the different executives talking about how and why they're trying to use influencers to create viral, grassroots, buzz for their movies and things. And I don't know if it's going to go the way I think it's going to go. So before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo, and we're going to talk about this. So Laughing Place has this article up, and they're talking about it. So they said about talking about this is going to be serious. You need to sit down for this one. Well, there is a place for it in the grand scheme of marketing promotion. I do feel like social media is ruining Disney. All right. As a Disney fan, my Explore For You pages across social media are quite Disney heavy. And for a long time, it meant simple photos of the parks, clips from movies, maybe a character or two. And now it's overtaken by influencers using their platform as an excuse to ruin the experience for people in the moment. We keep seeing this, and it has progressively gotten so much worse. For example, multiple users are taking character interactions, yes, and using them only for their benefit. Some ask jokes to the characters in order for them to figure out the punchline. Others ask hefty questions about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness to get 5-minute long videos with their responses. That ain't it. Because while you're sitting there doing that, there's a bunch of people online, including small children, waiting. They paid money to be there too. A lot of the people that are there all the time, they have passes or annual passes or whatever, and they're not even get to interact with the characters before they go on break because you're wasting so much of their time with these really stupid videos. It's ruining the ability for their guests to enjoy character interactions when they're being commandeered for selfish gain. Of course, I'm all for extended character interaction. Yet, when adults are coming in and stealing characters from guests to grow their own audience, it feels weird. When you have influencers using spaces for their own benefit, taking up space, dancing or filming scenes, setting up their cameras to get shots of them walking away or walking into buildings, it adds a certain level of mess to these locations and a certain level of get off my lawn energy. Yes, I don't disagree. Okay, so here's some of the things we've seen, and I talked about it before, but it is getting out of hand. And I've seen some other videos talking about some of this too we're going to talk about. But things I've seen personally. Well, I've been there, and there was a person, and I don't even remember who it was. My kids actually knew who it was. And we were trying to get into the Magic Kingdom, and they had themselves set up in front. So they had like the train behind them, the train station, all that behind them. And they're making a big deal off to the side with their big fuzzy microphone and their GoPro and all this other stuff they had going on. But because I'm so-and-so and I'm so important and all this other stuff. And trying to make a big show of it so people recognize them. You have other people who just go about their business in the parks that are influencers, and you never really know they're there unless people come to them and talk to them because they're just trying to get their job done. They're not trying to ruin the experience for others. And that's kind of like the real true Disney fans and Disney vloggers will be like that. They're like, they'll talk to you, but they're there just trying to do their thing. And then you have the people who have a whole setup to watch them eat. Every little thing, every little bite. And it's like nauseating. It's like, I don't want to watch you eat every little bite. That's just gross. Please stop doing that. We've seen people tell other people to move because they were blocking their shot. Been there. One time I was there, actually Neon, ironically, was at a media event. And I was walking around the parks doing live for the parks for people that were watching back when we had the other blog. And I wasn't being intrusive or anything. I was just walking with the crowd and, showing people so I wasn't blocking anyone. And when it was the first time, part of the day when it opened, we just did the morning show, which was at the castle stage. And I went around into Fantasyland, and in front of Pinocchio's village house, there's some girl stationed at the bench there with her boyfriend or husband or whatever, carrying all her stuff, forced to take picture after picture after picture of her. They had the whole area that you couldn't get anywhere near it, or they'd act annoyed or be like, you need to get out of my shot. And they were just doing this. The person who replaced me at the other blog that, was my blog and we were partners on, but the partner took it and put some other bimbo in there. Yeah, they went with one of the wine mommy bloggers, I'm so pretty, I'm so cute. I wear a tutu to the opening of Galaxy's Edge because Star Wars and tutus, am I right? That kind of mentality. Picture after picture of themselves in the doorways, which they're blocking to get photos of themselves. You see the people on the ground in front of the castle, don't come anywhere near me. I'm on the ground taking a picture of me. And it's all about me. It's all about me mentality. Another situation, there's a wishing well, Cinderella wishing well behind the castle. And it's not as trafficked as much as like some of the other areas are. And I was waiting to get a picture. And I think I've told the story before, and it was Halloween, and it was back when COVID restrictions were lifted. It was that first Halloween when they didn't do the party. It was just Halloween all day. So the parks weren't crowded. And I was waiting in line to get a picture. And this girl's there dressed up in this outfit with her mom, taking picture after picture after picture of her on this bench in the area. We're talking it wasn't a few minutes. We're talking, I was waiting there a good 15, 20 minutes. People were lining up behind me because they wanted pictures with it too. And I waited probably 10 more minutes or more. And then every time people come by, they'd be like, oh my God, are you an influencer? What's your Instagram? What's your TikTok? And she'd stop and be like, yeah, I am. Here's my information. And you hold it up even longer. Eventually, I just get up and left. I went and did some other stuff. I came walking by probably 20 minutes after I left, which had been a long time waiting. And people were still there waiting because she was still there. The arrogance, the entitlement is just off the charts. And again, I'm not talking to people who, are doing the same things, but they're doing it in a way that's not interfering with others. I'm talking about the TikTok, Instagram mentality where it's all about me. And we've seen some videos, I'm sure you've probably seen them too, with people falling into fountains or doing different stuff and people clapping when they did because they were so tired of their entitlement, telling people they couldn't stand there, just being like, could you move? Because you're in my shot. It's like ranks up with the girls that film themselves at the gym and then you can't walk in front of them even though there's no other place for you to walk because I'm filming myself. And it is ridiculous. I've been in different things. I was at a media thing and we were there and people were literally shoving their microphones in front of my camera and stuff to make sure that they got themselves in there. It's over the top. And then when you're interfering with other guests' experience and you're making it very unsafe for people too. It is a problem. And it doesn't help that Disney has rewarded that behavior in some level because they have gone out and found people with audiences to give them media access. And there's people that do it right and there's people who do it wrong. And the ones that do it wrong, unfortunately are the ones that are probably going to get leveraged moving forward because they have the bigger audiences. But I still think it's funny because some of the bigger videos about Disney are the ones when they catch somebody doing something stupid and then they post it. But they're saying about how it's a fad. Is TikTokers having their share of secrets in the park? Oh yeah, we have the ones when people were going up on the castle steps or in off limits areas to try to get clout. Whether it be character secrets, key cast member information, or bringing to light information not meant to be released to the public, it's become a problem. Guests are taking this information and holding it against cast members as a power move. I've seen it in practice at the parks and it's quite gross. You are a guest. Be respectful. 100%. 1,000%. You're a guest. You don't care how big your damn audience is. And some of these people are like, I have this many followers. I'm like, bitch, I have more than you and I don't act that way. And I'm not even big. I mean, that's not big. Don't treat the cast members. Don't treat them like crap. Don't disrespect them. I'm going to read some stories here and you're going to be like, what the hell? Don't. Just don't. Those people working their asses off, they're doing their job. You are not special. You aren't, look at me. God, it's usually a certain type. You can tell. Certain age range usually too. The Disney influencer community also shares the need to not only have an opinion on everything, but make it everything about themselves. I do understand that's the name of the game, but sometimes it's okay to take yourself out of the equation. And it goes on about that. It's like, I'm going to start blocking their content. And, there are some people with clout in the community that are remarkably disrespectful to cast members because they think they have the right. You don't have the right. You don't. I don't care who the hell you are. I don't care if you have 20 million subs. You don't get to act like a dick at the parks. You don't get to demand things at the parks because you're you. If you want to have special treatment, then pay for the VIP tour guides or something and treat them with respect also. And don't act like an arrogant fucktard. Thank you. Here are some stories from cast members. They talked about some of the things they've seen on Reddit. One person said they worked at Autotopia, and they said I was in the position that wanders the attraction and noticed an empty car in the campground area. My immediate thought was, oh geez, another person got out of their car again. But upon further inspection, this lady and her camera boyfriend, which you see often, were taking pictures next to the campfire area. Immediately radioed my coworkers and told them to hold our traffic for guests because they're guests out of their cars. They don't want them to get hit because then they get sued. I went up to this lady and I asked her to delete the photos and get back in her car or else I'd get security involved. She then told me that if I knew who she was and that she had like 10,000 followers on Instagram, that's all. I said, that's nice, but you don't work here. Get back in your car or I'm going to get security involved. She then threw a hissy fit with her camera boyfriend, deleting the photos fully, by the way. Then they hopped back in their car and had a nice chat with my lead and my manager when they got back to the station. All right. Don't get out of your vehicles for any reason. Exactly. And don't tell cast members that I have a lot of followers. You can't tell me what to do. Like hell they can't. They work there. You don't. They're talking. Yeah, I'm sure Disney's company was devastated by losing those 10,000 followers. My friend who works on the phone, constantly influencers call up all time demanding free admission. When they get turned down, they threaten bad publicity. Okay, you don't get free admission just because you call and ask for it. You have to be on lists for this stuff, and you have to get a hold of the PR department, and you have to go through the right channels to set this up. I know because we've done it. And you have to go, you don't just call up and say, I'm an influencer and I have so many people because I said so, give me free tickets. It doesn't work that way. Either you have to come to you or you have to know who to go to and you have to be vetted, and there's a bunch of other stuff. And you could apply a dozen times and not get picked, and then one day you might. There are proper channels. That is not it. My sister's a former cast member. She worked in retail, and this one influencer was still in the store over an hour after it closed. Okay, 2 hours after the park closed. For those who don't know. So when you're leaving the theme parks, like Magic Kingdom, for example, and you're on Main Street, while the rest of the park is closed, the stores stay open for another hour. And you can shop on your way out. They're trying to get as much money as they can out of you. And a lot of people will hover around until that last hour is coming close to an end just to get pictures of the park, but there's not a lot of people in it. Plus, it's also a massive amount of people leaving at once. However, if you wait too long, you might get your butt stuck there unless you're staying at like a walking distance hotel, because the buses will eventually stop running like an hour after the park's closed, and you won't be able to get back over to the transportation ticket center as other things stop running. You're going to be like stuck there. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you're staying at like the Grand Floridian or someplace like that you can get to. You're going to be stuck. She waited 2 hours. She and the other cast members had to wait until the influencer finished filming before they could clock out. My sister looked at the influencer's Instagram story where she posted a bunch of photos she took after leaving the store, was bragging about how much she loved being the absolute last person in the park and the amazing photos she got. Somebody else like, at Universal, we kick people out. Once the closing hour comes, we tell them to make their final selections and head to the register. We give them 5 minutes, and after that, it's straight to the register or out. As it should be. And it goes on and on. They're talking about somebody, I met Provost Park couple this year, met a Provost Park Pass couple. I don't know who they are. This person is talking about how there were actually good people, like Provost Park Pass couple, and they were like nice. They talked to them. They filmed but didn't use lights. You don't want to use lights in the attractions. Just because you want to take video or you want to be an influencer or whatever, or you are, doesn't give you the right to disrupt everyone else's vacation. It doesn't give you the right to go around and treat cast members like shit. Not everybody's there to kiss your ass. There are some other good examples. People talking about how someone was filming near an attraction where kids were, and I apologized when they were live. And he said, no, that's what Disneyland's for. So not all influencers are bad. I agree. A lot of the ones who actually have been doing this a while, who are part of the media list, who are legitimately blogging Disney park people, they usually don't behave this way. The ones I'm thinking of, you usually see the ones that flew in and made a big deal about it, or, they're TikTok or Instagram people. The ones who are legitimately like vloggers or daily YouTube people, they don't behave that way. They usually are pretty cool about it. They don't try to be obtrusive. They'll talk to you if you come up to them, that kind of stuff. But for every good one, you have like 3 or 4 bad ones. And it's getting so bad that they're having to write articles about it, And the one person I never came across an obvious influencer, so that's good. But I know I've seen it happen numerous times. It's just, don't be that way. You're not that special. You just really, truly aren't. Nobody cares, except for you. You don't have the right to tell people they have to move just because they're in your shot. You don't have the right to hog the whole, main street for pictures of yourself. You don't have the right to, stand in doorways for hours so people take your picture. You don't have the right to block the Cinderella fountain, or wishing well, for an hour while your mommy takes your picture because you think you're special. I don't care how cool your outfit is. You don't have the right. You get your shots and you get out and you make sure you leave room for other people. And it's not about you. But it's getting bad. So that's leading into this, which is Sony and Disney marketing execs are collaborating with influencers and leading into TikTok's algorithm. So I'm worried it's going to get bad because this is more about movies and stuff. They're trying to create viral things. They're down here talking about the TikTok cultural impact. It drives discovery. This is TikTok. Before it was Instagram. That's why you had those stupid Instagram walls. They were going for Instagram. Disney's notorious for hiring. They have different interns and they hire them when they're young. And basically this whole thing is taught VPs of media and social media, influencer and stuff, talking about how they're trying to get groups of influencers to get, authentic reactions. And this is different. Because what they're trying to do here isn't the same as your self-labeled influencer going to the parks and making it about yourself. What they're trying to do is they're trying to put people with audiences in a controlled setting that they control to get the reaction they want to get to go on a viral video. To try to get people to be like, oh, I like them and they say it's good, so I'm going to go. Which I don't have a problem with so much, but I know critics and the media, in quotes, are getting mad about. It's not the same thing. This is what they're doing now. And as long as it stays within this kind of situation where it's controlled, I think they'll be okay. But at the parks, it's out of control. There's a difference between the two, what they're doing. This one, they're controlling and they're bringing them in. The parks, unless you're on the media list, they're going themselves and they're making it about themselves. And there's a right and wrong way to do it. So while the parks are out of control, this strategy is starting to piss off the critics, which I have to laugh about. But this one is because they're choosing to do it. So Disney is using influencers. Other studios and companies are using influencers, but they're using them in their own way, to their own controlled environment. And if they step out of line, they're going to be out the door. So it's just the whole thing. So the parks is completely different than what we talked about the other day. But I do think it's funny because Disney's leaning into it. And I'm afraid it's going to embolden the people at the parks thinking that it's going to get them a cookie or a cupcake party. Because they hear Disney's using TikTokers, Disney's using social media influencers to try to promote their films. And they're going to be like, if I get bigger, I can be one of them too. And then they're going to act even worse in an attempt to get more clout. So anyway, it's like the tale of two Disneys, tale of two studios. I don't want to put it, it's like they're saying two different things at once and it's going to give people the wrong idea. So anyway, there you go. I just thought it was funny because they're basically influencers ruining Disney and then Disney is leaning into it, but they're leaning into it in a different way than what these people think they are. So anyway, please like and subscribe and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.